Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play ChäoS Child. In the last episode, Serika and I ventured back in to Hekio Academy. With her, Mio Kunosato, Detective Takeshi Shinjo, and of course, Takuru Miyashiro himself, as they attempt to find another facility controlled by the Committee of 300 and run by none other than Mr. Suichi Wakui. A facility within Hekio Academy itself. A facility that Serika had visited Wakui in back when she was collaborating with him, back before her existence was altered at the fundamental level. But thanks to her subconscious memories, Serika was able to find that facility again. Because it is necessary to curing everyone who is afflicted with ChäoS Child syndrome. And while Takuru was none too happy that Serika did not heed his warnings and leave Shibuya while she still could, he should have known that it was an impossibility. After all, he is the one responsible for her existence, and her curiosity was just as boundless as his was, way back when, before all this. But our journey is not yet over. We still have answers that need to be found. And of course, what will happen once Serika finally does reconcile her past with her present? But we can't stay here too long, because even though Mio, through her connections, was able to evacuate well, not necessarily evacuate, but clear everyone out of the academy, it's only a matter of time before Wakui and the Committee of 300 eventually realize what's going wrong. Unfortunately, Mio has acquired the data that she needs in order to bring everyone back and also cure them of the ChäoS Child syndrome.
そんなこと本当にできるの？どんな画像なの？
できるさ。ここにはそのためのデータもソフトも揃ってる。だからずっと探してたんだ。多分見る人によって何に見えるか違う。左右対称の画像だと思うけど、どんなものかは実際に見てのお楽しみってところかな。
So, it will be a Rorschach like all the others, and thus subjective to other people's perception.
あんたがその特別なノウハウを持ってるなら、なんであんたは症候群者になっちゃったの？おかしいじゃない。
Another pertinent question there, Serika.
最初はそんなの持ってなかった。症候群にかかった後でそれを持つようになった。
After you got the syndrome.
それってどうして？
he's still keeping a lid on the information.
それはカオスチャイルド症候群になった人たちは渋谷地震の時地獄のような光景を体験してみんな嘘だと思ったんだ。
Something nightmarish, huh? What did they see when that light appeared?
こんなもの現実であるはずがない。自分がここにいるなんて何かの間違いだってね。それがあの白い光と反応して。
That was Ganeshi Narose triggering Noah too.
白い光。
その中でも特に強いショックとストレスを抱えていた人たちが能力者になったんだ。
The people who were being experimented on by the Committee of 300 were clearly affected, and thus turned into pseudo-gigalomaniacs.
妄想に逃げ込むだけじゃ足りなくて辛い現実そのものをねじ曲げようとしたんだね。そのために能力を手に入れた。
Indeed. After all, each person, at the time that they had experienced the white light, had a wish. A wish that they desperately tried to make real. Powers. Wait, what was he talking about? You'll know soon enough, or rather, remember soon enough, Serika and Ori.
しかも僕はそんな能力者の中でも一番の臆病者だった。現実が辛くて辛くて、それでずっと僕の隣にいた。
He almost said it. You're going to have to tell her eventually. Suddenly Miyashiro leapt up from his seat. He had a terrible look on his face. Indeed, what is happening? He seemed to be astonished at what he'd almost said. Almost let the cat out of the bag. But though it might have been for the best of reasons, even you can't look away what you had from what you
ごめん、
had to do.
なんでもない。
He whispered and sank back down in his seat.
びっくりさせないでよ。
悪かった。
Just like Kunasato had said, the medicine was already starting to wear off. I picked up the chair that I'd knocked over and sat down, this time a little further away. He didn't seem dangerous, but just in case.
それで続きずっと隣にいたって誰？
Now I wonder, Did Takuru Miyashiro do more than just rid himself of his parents 6 years ago? Did he actually alter reality itself? I could feel a sudden tension emanating from him as he stared at the ceiling. He pressed his lips together in thought. There was a silence for a while, one that threatened to burst if I pressed him for an answer. But then I heard him speak, softly.
親友だよ。
He was still staring at the ceiling.
親友なんていたんだね。あんなひどい殺人を犯すようなあんたにも。
うん。最後はそいつのおかげで思い知らされた。作られた現実なんていつか壊れてしまうものだって。けどそのおかげなんだ。僕が自分を包み込んでいた妄想から脱出できたのは、他の症候群の人たちにはそうと気づかせてくれる友達がいないんだと思う。
Wait a second, I thought. What gave him the right to say that? The people you killed probably had close friends too, I almost said that. But for some reason I stopped. Miyashiro's face, his eyes, that looked so sad.
宮代、データの取り出しは終わった。書き出しが残っているが、おそらく成功だ。
However, it looks like our conversation has come to a close.
本当ですか？
もう鎮静剤の効果は薄れてきているはずだ。立ち上がっても大丈夫だぞ。
はい。
At least for now. Miyashiro stood up from the seat. There was a smile on his face.
待って。
I called out to him as he went to leave the room. There was something else I desperately needed to know.
あんたの親友って同じように症候群者だったの？今何をしてるの？
Miyashiro slowly turned to look at me.
いや、普通の人だった。もう亡くなったよ。
So you claim.
彼女はこの世界のどこにもいない。
But that's not true, is it?
これが？
I waited for about a half hour before Kunisado pulled an image up on the screen. Just like Miyashiro said, it was symmetrical. We have ourselves our 12th Rorschach. Different people might see it differently. But I couldn't imagine anybody would describe it as anything but elaborate scribbles.
こんなもので症候群を治すことができるんですか？できるかどうか、やってみればわかることだ。
Yeah, we'll need to test it before we can know conclusively.
問題はその手段ですね。
ああ、佐久間のように症候群者の研究を続けようとしているグループが残っているからな。
Hmm. Yeah. If everything is unfolded like I think it has, it would make sense that we all know the true nature of Wataru Sakama, who was exploiting the Gigolomaniacs and the Chaos Child Syndrome for his own twisted ends. And as we already know, Serika was helping both him and Wakui the whole time.
このまま画像を流そうとしても邪魔されますね、多分。
Yeah. Every plan has a wrinkle. Even ours. We need to find a way to get past their interference and spread the image to as many people as possible at the same time. But we'll need to camouflage it. Kunasato sank back into her chair, and she started to type again at an unbelievable speed.
同時に見せるって症候群の人たちに？
Yeah, Miyashiro nodded.
もちろん全員は無理だろうけど、可能な限り多くの人に見てもらう必要があるんだ。
Of course, the committee are going to notice at some point.
どうして？
そうしないと残った症候群者の妄想シンクロに引きずられて元に戻ってしまう恐れがあるんだよ。自分たちは普通の人と何も変わらないっていう妄想にね。
We need to break that delusion. I remember my conversation with Kunasato. I'd said they were having a dream that showed them what they wanted to see.
急ごしらえだが、これでいいだろう。
Looks like Mio has found a solution of sorts. That's all we got. I could see a strange image that looked like white noise on the screen.
うん？
Static. I kept staring at it, but I couldn't see the image from before.
これは
Miyashiro seemed to be as confused as I was. Kunasato took something out of her pocket and pointed it at the monitor. It made a cute noise. A digital camera?
こんなものか。ま、使えるだろう。
Oh, whatever it is, it works. She checked the LCD screen on the back and proffered it to me. She looked slightly dissatisfied. The screen showed
え？
something. The LCD screen on the camera showed a slightly distorted version of the same image I'd seen before. There it is. Our 12th Rorschach. To counter the 11th. It could be many things. Two friends. In a symbol of their friendship. Or just, yeah, playing or whatever. Or something else entirely. Make of it what you will, I suppose. How? It was just a picture of white noise.
そうか、シャッタースピード。
ああ、ノイズの中にフレーム単位で画像を混ぜた。シャッターの速度を1秒に設定するとこう映る。これなら目では認識できないが意識には届くだろう。案外使い勝手がいいかもしれないな。
Given how the 11th Rorschach operated, I should certainly hope so.
ですね。例の映像を見逃す症候群者がいても別の映像に簡単に仕込めますし、久野里さん、映像編集もできるんですね。
Well, she is the person behind Shibuya News, after all.
私が何のページを管理していると思ってるんだ。
That's right, Miyashiro smiled.
例の映像って？
こいつの犯行声明だ。
Confession.
は？
His confession.
時間を予告し、本物だと信じさせる証拠をアップし、その上で犯行声明を予告通りにネット配信する。映像の前後や途中にこのノイズを仕込んだ上でな。
Well-organized, if somewhat risky plan.
少なくとも碧峰学園に所属している症候群者は食いつくだろう。それ以外の施設に所属している者や保護者が自宅で療養させている者も。
Kunisate looked at him mischievously.
あれだけの事件を起こした犯人の新たな犯行声明だ。大半は飛びつくだろう。
Of course. So once again, Takuru Miyashiro will gladly play the goat.
ですね。
Just to make this all work. Miyashiro smiled back. Oh, so that was it. I finally realized.
もしかしてそれがあんたの目的なの？
ん？
その新しい犯行声明とかっていうのを世に出したいから久野里さんに協力してるってこと？
I will take that as a yes.
世間の人たちは逮捕されたあんたが警察で惨めな思いをしてると思ってるでしょ？でも実際のあんたは 平気な顔で外を歩き回ってる。みんなに向かって自分はお前らが思ってるような惨めな暮らしはしてないぞ、ざまあ見ろってアピールしたい。違う？
No, he isn't suffering like everyone believes he is. But that doesn't mean that Takuru Miyashiro isn't suffering. He was a horrible killer. I had to be right. Sadly, Serika Noe, you couldn't be more wrong. I put as much rudeness and sarcasm as I could muster into my words. But Takuru will just take that in stride. Miyashiro laughed tiredly.
いくらなんでもそんなに意地は悪くないから。
いや、そうでもないぞ。以前の宮代ならやりかね。
久野里さんに言われたくないです。大体。
But just before he could finish his sentence.
なあ、人のものを取ってはいけませんって習わなかったのかい？
Yeah, we should have been keeping an eye out for you, Suichi Wakui. This is bad. Very bad. There was suddenly a voice behind us. Yeah, we lingered here too long. Or perhaps he was waiting here the whole time. Miyashiro tensed in the direction of the voice. Kunosato stood up and glared. I was the only one who was too off guard to react. I turned my head back over my shoulder. And there was a man standing there. I'd seen him before, many times.
なんで？
ん？僕は碧峰学園の教師だよ。いて当然じゃないか。と、ストップだ、久野里くん。
Yeah. Should have realized that he wouldn't have left just because everyone else did. So it's come to this. In other words, Suichi Wakui has pretty much been our real enemy all along. Wataru Sakuma might have been experimenting for his own twisted gain, and Serika may have instituted the return of the new generation madness for the sake of Takuru Miyashiro's entertainment. But the real person behind this plot was him all along. Kunosato froze, her hand in her pocket.
上の彼に連絡しても無駄だよ。もうここには入れないし、出られない。君たちの意識をそう変えた。
Should have known. Yeah. I've seen this trick played before in ChäoS head. So I should have expected this. There was more tension on Kunosato and Miyashiro's faces than I'd ever seen. Yeah, we were far too relaxed. We let our guard down. And that allowed Wakui to slip between the cracks. The man laughed a little as he saw it. And then I realized that this was the man in my visions. And the man in the photo Kunosato had shown me. Suichi Wakui.
何か用か。
おいおいおい、盗っとたけだけしいとはよく言ったもんだ。勝手に人のデータを使っておいて。
And you're quite the bold scumbag, experimenting on all these people for selfishness.
君、自分が正しいと思ったら周りが見えなくなるタイプだね。もう少し要領よくやったらどうだい？アメリカの研究所でもずいぶん嫌われてたそうじゃないか。
It's true that Mio Kunosato worked at Mitochondria University. Although I can't say for certain just how events are over there in this particular area of causality. Is Kurisu Makase still over there? Is Maho Hyajo? Is Alexis Laskin in there too? But we have to put that aside for now.
貴様。
ああ、怒らない怒らない。ちょっと小耳に挟んだだけだ。さて。
Yeah, we still have unanswered questions about Mio. What did happen over at Mitochondria?
とりあえずさ、みんな適当に座ってくれないかな。落ち着かないでしょ。
Great. Mock Takuru, why don't you? Something felt very wrong. Well, no shit. Wakui wasn't holding any kind of weapon. Because he doesn't need conventional weapons. He was a thin, gentle-looking scientist type. He didn't seem strong at all, but physical strength was never his style. If Miyashiro and Kunosato had both leapt on him at the same time, they should have been able to hold him down, and I could help a little if the three of us attacked at once. But he's expecting that. But they were keeping their distance and acting cautious, as if he were holding a gun. Oh, he has something far worse. Much worse.
何も殺そうってわけじゃないんだから、そんなに警戒しなくても。
We have every reason to be nervous. I don't
特
trust
に
you.
宮代くん、僕は新聞部の顧問だよ。君とはずいぶん仲良くやってきたと思うんだがな。
Except that your position here at Hekio is nothing more than a cover. It's been a cover this whole time. Wakui laughed as he talked. For some reason he sounded like a con artist. There's a shock.
座ろう、尾上さん。
Yeah, we don't have a way of talking our way out of this one. And unfortunately we're not going to be able to deal with him the way that we did in Kazuki's story. When When he heard that, he smiled for some reason. Yeah, there was a deliberate reason why Takuru just uttered Serika's full name in front of Wakui. It was a nasty smile, like he was enjoying something.
尾上さんね
何ですか？あなた、私のことを何か知って。
やめるんだ。こいつの言う通りにしてくれ。頼む。
Takuru is broking no argument.
頼む。
Seems.
分かったわよ。
I sat down in a nearby chair. Kunasato sat too. She seemed like she was trying to hold back her anger even more than usual. Wakui smiled in surprise as he looked at the monitor Kunasato had been working at.
なるほど。これで宮代くんと同じ脳波をね。いやー、よくできてる。惜しいな、久野里くん。君、委員会に戻ってくる気はないかい？
黙れ。
I think I can't be sure about this, but I'm pretty certain that I said something along the lines of the fact that Mio Kunosato's grudge against the committee might come back to bite us in the ass. I really hate to be right on that front. I really do. She just barely stopped herself from getting out of her chair.
委員会に加わったことなどない。貴様らが勝手に私の研究データを使って実験を行っていただけだろうが。
Her voice was shaking. She seemed genuinely furious. And come to think of it, it was Victor Condria's very own neuroscientific research that the Committee of 300 stole and utilized for their own purposes.
おかしいな。君も当初は乗り気だったと聞いてるよ。いいデータが取れたとか言って。
Unfortunately, Mio Kunosato has the same unfortunate character trait as Kurusu Makase and Maho Hyajo. When it comes to science, she loses all focus of the outside world. And as such, she doesn't understand the consequences of her own actions until it's too late.
そもそも脳に障害を負った子供が何人死のうと、それは科学の発展のための尊い犠牲じゃないか。君は喜ぶべきだったと思うけどね。
黙れと言っているんだ。
She finally stood up, her eyes wide with rage. God damn it. But the next moment...
久野里さん。
She was suddenly slammed back into the wall. It was as if she was thrown by some invisible force. Yeah, we were right to keep our distance. was never going to be that easy, was it? What was that? That was the power of a gigalomaniac. I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my temples. My hand shot up to my head. She's starting to remember. It was the same pain as when I passed out after first coming here. My fingers tensed up and my nails dug into my forehead.
久野里君、いい加減認めたらどうだい？君がどんな手を使おうと委員会にダメージを与えることはできない。
She might not, but the committee is not all powerful. After all, Steins Gate Zero can attest to that. There are other forces out there, like Strategic Focus. I mean, okay, yeah, they're pretty much on the same level as the Committee of 300, as being mortal enemies, and pretty much carrying out the same unethical research, but the Committee of 300 isn't quite the top dog that it believes itself to be.
君はアメリカからデータを持ち出して姿を消しておきながら、ここに研究者として姿を現した。当然我々のことを探るつもりだったと思うけどね。
So at some point, Mio learned of the committee at Mitochondria and then went searching for the committee.
だけどさ、魚釣りをするにしたって堂々と表を歩いてる僕に気づかないようじゃ話にならないよ。
Once again, would like to point out the fact that I didn't trust you from the moment I first saw you, Suichi. Unfortunately, there are others who can't say the same. As the pain blurred my vision, I heard the sound of gritting teeth. Kunisada was looking at Wakui with an incredible fury.
いや、すまん。別にバカにしてるわけじゃないんだ。むしろ高く評価してるんだよ。この画像だって実によくできてる。ぜひ将校軍の皆さんに見せてあげてくれ。
え？
He's baiting us.
何？
ん？そんなに驚くことかい？
Is he hoping to hijack the Rorschach?
ああ、そっか。君たちは僕が佐久間と同じようにギガロマニアックス研究を諦めていない方のグループだと考えてるわけか。なるほどね。それなら僕を敵視してもおかしくない。
That's because you are our enemy, Wakui. Wakui kept laughing. I didn't know what was funny.
違うのか。私には見えないが。貴様だってギガロマニアクスなのだろう。
Kunisada pointed to the empty space in front of Wakui's hand.
それとこれとは話が別だ。僕はあくまでも委員会に忠誠を誓った人間だよ。で、委員会の命令は6年前の事件のせいで渋谷に大量発生したイレギュラーをすべて掃除することだ。
Yeah, the committee are working hard to scrub the stain of Ganeshi Narose's existence from the world. He is one of the few men who, for better or for worse, could have actually successfully challenged the committee and beaten them at their own game. Of course, whether it was the committee or Nerose, the future would have been a horrifying one.
ほらな、君らとは利害が一致してるだろう。だから僕には君らの邪魔をする理由なんてどこにもないわけだ。
Maybe the Rorschach isn't going to do what we believe that it does. After all, we are using the committee's very own technology. Our plan might have been flawed from the very start after all, in spite of all our hopes. But beyond all doubt, it's very clear that the Committee of 300 is itself the enemy of the world. Do you understand? He laughed.
本当のことを言うとね、実は僕も離反した佐久間くんと同じように最初は期待したんだよ。宮代拓くん、君にね。
Yeah. They wanted Takuru to reach the same unfathomable levels as Takumi Nishijo once did. But that's all in the past.
この渋谷という街でカオスチャイルド症候群が発生したのもイレギュラーなら、症候群者の中から能力者が生まれたのもイレギュラーだ。ところがそんな出来損ないどもの中から本物らしいギガロマニアックスが現れたんだ。驚いたよ。だから佐久間くんとは別にね、僕も君のことをずっと観察していた。上層部の連中は懐疑的だったけどね、それを説得して渋谷の大掃除を待たせるのには苦労した。
So the committee management decided to continue their sweep of everything that the Rose did. But is it really surprising that a gigalomaniac like Takumi Nishijo, Takuru Miyashiro would appear? I mean, there are other gigalomaniacs. Takumi Nishijo, Rimi Sakihata, Kozue Orihawa, Sena Aoi, Yua Kusunoki, Fez aka Ayase Kishimoto, and of course Takumi's own sister Nanami was herself a gigalomaniac, not to mention of course Nerose. So yeah, it's surprising that there wouldn't be more gigalomaniacs manifesting in such conditions. After all, as I said previously, the third melt was designed to not only bring delusions into reality, but do so by turning everyone who was affected by Noah 2 into a D-sword wielding gigalomaniac. Wakuita seemed to be enjoying this, but Miyashiro was glaring back at him fiercely. For my part, my headache was getting unbearably bad. It's only a matter of time before her unconscious memories start finally pouring in again. Psychics, gigalomaniacs, Sakuma. Each time I heard a word, my head started to throb. Something was getting stuck in my memories. Something was intertwining with my feelings.
ところがね、困ったことに君は自分から能力を放棄してしまった。
Indeed, he had to.
その上、カオスチャイルド症候群からも帰還してしまったものだから、僕が上層部を説得してきた理由がなくなってしまったんだ。面目は丸つぶれだよ。
Well, you were always a third-rate member anyway.
おかげで随分と怒られてね。序列も下げられてしまった。僕みたいに資金もコネクションもない人間がここまで来るのは容易じゃなかったんだが。
Well, when all is said and done, even if the committee had succeeded in their ambitions, they probably would have gotten rid of you anyway, since they no longer needed you. Tough breaks, I'm afraid.
愚痴をこぼしてる場合じゃなかったな。
You think sucking up to the committee is going to save your career, Wakui? I don't think so. But you're too stupid to
と
see
にか
that.
く我々にとってはもうこの町やカオスチャイルド症候群には何の価値もないんだ。それどころか佐久間のような輩に妙な研究をされると非常に困る。だから君たちがその画像を使って症候群者を消してくれるというんなら。
Does that mean that the committee isn't going to perform another illicit research of its own, like flawed time travel or any other type of experimentation? Why do I find that incredibly hard to believe after the Committee of 300's priceless track record? It would make us very happy, Wakui said as he spread his arms wide, just to cover their messes while they pursue another line of scientific research. And then the whole cycle will start up all over again.
ということで、分かってくれたかな、宮代くん、久野里くん。
Indeed, I understand. I understand that the Committee of 300 is perfectly incapable of understanding and learning from its own tragic mistakes.
だから二人ともそう怖い顔しないでほしいな。今は同じ目的を持った仲間じゃないか。
Wakui, allow me to tell you a little tale about something known as the Syndicate. Once upon a time, there was a group of people who believed that they controlled the world through a shadowy consortium of secret governments and extraterrestrial conspiracies and whatnot. Pretty much all, if not most if not all of them died. The end.
改めて
That
聞
was
くけ
my
どさ、
tale.
久野里くん、我々の研究を手伝う気はないかい？
Not a
Kotowaru.
chance. There was no doubt in her voice. Only black anger. But Wakui was as unmoved as ever.
不思議だな。理解に苦しむな。どうして君くらい優秀な頭脳の持ち主が復讐なんかにとらわれてるんだろう。もっと対極的に見ることはできないかい？研究者としてどんなことでもできる地位と権力、それに資金。 それらを手に入れられるんだ。
For working for the committee? Not worth it. Absolutely not worth it.
しかも私利私欲のためじゃない、より正しい次の世界を作るための
The next world.
聞こえなかったのか。断る。
What about this world? Suichi Wakui. They're just going to kill this world line? They just let it dissolve into the ether? I don't think so.
なあ久野里くん、言っただろう。僕たちは今は仲間だって。特に君を殺すなって言命されてるんだよ。
The look in his eyes changed for a moment. I felt a shiver go down my spine and took my hands off my aching head to grab the sides of the chair I was sitting in. If I didn't, it felt like I would fall over.
くだらない脅しだ。
Kunasato, however, was unmoved. Her voice was strong. Just listening to it made it feel like the terror was fading away.
何でもできる地位、権力、バカバカしい。たとえそれがどれほどのものであろうと、誰かにあてがわれた力などうんざりだ。そんなもの一セントの価値もない。
Indeed. Very well said.
そういった力というのは自らの手で掴んでいくからこそ価値がある。たとえ進むべき道に迷ったとしても、そこに解があると信じて進むのが人間というものだ。
The grin vanished from his face. There was a wickedness in his voice that even I could sense.
それは元から君の考えかい？それとも誰かに影響されたのかい？
さあな。
What are you talking about, Wakui? I felt like Kunasato looked at Miyashiro for a moment.
残念だよ。我々を出し抜けると勘違いしながら、用意された舞台の上でこれからも踊り続けるといい。
Control is made of knowing what we have and what we want. Power is having something that someone else wants and cannot have. The Committee of 300 is not the only ones who can play the game of manipulation, Suichi Wakui. They are their own worst puppets in the end. But of course, Suichi has other tricks in store. Huh? Suddenly Kunasato disappeared without a sound. How? She was just here. It's a delusion. I quickly looked around, but she was nowhere to be seen.
お前、
動かないでくれ、宮代くん。僕はね、少し機嫌が悪くなっちゃったんだ。 動けば切るよ。
Oh, you're in a bad mood. Uh, Unfortunately, something else has just occurred to me. Since neither Takuru or Serika are currently gigalomaniacs, on account that they don't have powers, they can't see Wakui's D-sword anymore. At least, not unless it's real booted.
ああ、そうだった。今の君には見えてすらいないんだったね。これが。
Yeah, I called it. God damn it. Once again, I was right on the money. Erg. And now that he has rebooted it, we can see it. There was something creepy wrapped around Wakui's hand. It was like a huge pair of scissors. Or no, like a creature with thorn-covered tentacles bearing its fangs at us. And it appeared from nowhere in the same way that Kunosato had vanished.
まったく。宮代くんもおかしいよな。自分から力を捨ててしまうなんて。
Because that power was ultimately the thing that was killing him, really, if I'm being perfectly honest. The powers of a gigomaniac, as Takumi Nichijou has demonstrated, carries a tremendous price.
君のことは殺してもいいと言われてるんだ。それを踏まえてよーく聞いてくれよ。
Well, so is it me? But I'm pretty sure that Wakui's D-sword is different from what it was before. Very different. Miyashiro seemed to be judging his distance from Wakui. His legs were shaking a little, but he didn't take a single step back. I felt like I was going crazy from the headaches and all the strange things that were happening.
君をずっと観察していたと言っただろう。実はもう一つ興味深い実験ができると思っていたからなんだ。
God damn it, Wakui.
都市伝説好きの君なら聞いたことはないかな。ワンワールドオーダー。
世界統一政府。
Yeah. One would even call it the organization.
そう。僕はね、君たちを観察していて、渋谷がその実験場になりうるんじゃないかと思いついたんだ。カオスチャイルド症候群の症状とされている老人化現象は脳内活動の副産物に過ぎなくてね。より注目すべき点は彼らがそのことに気づかないということなんだよ。
Well, we already know that much.
地震の際、例の光を受けた連中は激しいストレスから精神を守るために逃避行動に出た。
However, there were a lot of people that didn't. There were a lot of people who, yeah, didn't escape.
現実とは異なる別の現実を生き始めた彼らは妄想シンクロによって自分たちに都合のいい渋谷を作り上げたんだ。 そしてそれはそのまま僕の考えるワンワールドオーダーの縮図だった。
You already have the committee of 300. What more could you want?
自分の身に降りかかっている老人化現象という不幸に気づこうともせず、自分は幸せなんだと錯覚し続ける善良な愚民たち。まさに理想的な非支配者階級の姿じゃないか。
Did you even hear a word of what we've said, Wakui, about you and the committee?
そこで僕はある実験を提案した。ワンワールドオーダーの箱庭実験さ。宮代君に関しては懐疑的だった委員会もそれには大いに興味を示してきたよ。
I am not surprised in the least.
箱庭実験。
Yep. So you lied. You said there weren't going to be any more of these kind of experiments. But then, I had my doubts.
ワンワールドオーダーにおける非支配者階級はどこまで善良な愚民のままでいられるのか。渋谷という箱庭でちょっとしたシミュレーションができると考えたんだ。
Once again, Wakui, my disdain for you knows no bounds. So when we return, adventurers, we shall have to listen to more of Wakui's monologuing, and hopefully find a way to create a miracle that gets us out of this situation, and also helps get Kunasato back from wherever it is that Wakui has sent her. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.